AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. We are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing, a special remote today. Yes, it is the first day of the NFL draft, but we're here for a very different reason. Starting bright and early this morning through just about 2 minutes ago is Team Kate swab event, and we're thrilled to be here today, hopefully helping Kate Hargett, 11-year-old, with a rare type of blood cancer, find her donor. She's in need of a bone marrow transplant, and this swab event here at Fran U, at Our Lady of the Lake, all trying to find a donor for Kate, a match for Kate, help save her life. So hopefully today was that day. We'll know whenever they work hard to get all these samples. And are we good? Okay, to get all these samples, and we'll find out definitively if, in fact, we're able to find Kate's match. But we'll say a lot of prayers and hope that day was today. And if you couldn't make it out today, they will have the swab event continues tomorrow, same place right here. And even if you couldn't make it out today or tomorrow, you can still get swabbed to join the NMDP, which is the National Marrow Donor Program, by going to the website, 1045ESPN.com. We have the link on our website. They'll send you a swab kit. Takes 30 seconds. You just swab your cheek, mail it back in. Or, as we learned today from Dr. Saba, who was with us, you can go to LA Wallet. If you open up LA Wallet, the app on your phone, and go to the menu, there is right there on the menu a tab where you can join the NMDP. So they make it really easy. So please do so. If you feel called to, we'd certainly appreciate it and help save a life. Okay, it's After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Today was day 14 of LSU spring football. And it was the 14th and final spring practice access that we had, the media had, in the first spring under Lane Kiffin. And I'll tell you, if I had my biggest takeaways from spring, so they'll practice again on Saturday, but there's no media access for Saturday. But if I had to, and listen, every minute of access they gave us, I was there. Every practice, every minute they gave us, I was there. And if I could tell you my single biggest takeaway from spring, it would be it started with the defense overwhelming the offense. And I don't think that's in any way a surprise. Blake Baker is back. Basically all of his staff, save Kyle Williams, is back. You return a lot of star players at all three levels of the defense. You've added key transfers like obviously Prince William Monmiel, Jordan Ross, TJ Daugherty, Ty Benefield. So you've added elite players at every level. The defense, we think, is going to be really good. I mean, they were a top 30 defense in the country a year ago, and there's reason to believe they might be better this year. And they were overwhelming the offense early. Lane Kiffin used the word discouraging, that it was discouraging a couple of Saturdays ago watching that scrimmage with how poorly the offense played. The 6 turnovers, the 5 interceptions, really struggled to find any type of consistency. Well, since that day, the offense found their stride, and they've kept getting better, and that continued here on day 14. They open up, if you follow these reports,
when they open up practice, the first thing they do is a period they call quick six. So it's fast tempo, 11 on 11, 6 plays, first team offense against first team defense on one field, and second team offense, second team defense on the other field. I went back and looked at my notes from all of the practices, and the offense has scored in that drill one time. It's not been good. That drill has not been good for the offense at all. Today, it didn't start great. Jordan Ross got a sack on the first play, but then Tradez caught a pass. Jace Brown caught a pass on the sideline. Couple of quick plays. LSU moved down the field a little bit. And then Phillip Wright caught a short slant, turned upfield, and housed it from beyond 50 yards. Split the safeties and took it to the house. That was the fourth play. They went and ran a fifth play, just ran a 2-point conversion. And Husan Longstreet hit Jackson Harris, who beat Ty Benefield for the 2-point conversion. I mean, what a great way to punctuate spring for the offense, which has been improving over the last 2 weeks and continued that again today. A couple of notes as we sort of empty the notebook. Malik Blockton, the defensive line transfer from Auburn, we told you about on Tuesday when we were out there. I happened to be watching the defensive line. They were just doing a drill, hitting the sleds, and something happened sort of awkwardly. He went off to the side, was working with the trainer. They took him to the injury tent. He didn't return, then was not there today. So no Malik Blockton. William Satterwhite, the center transfer from Tennessee, who's missed about a week now, was also not there. Still no Solomon Thomas. Let's see, Trey Brown, who we saw in a boot on his left foot Saturday in Tiger Stadium. He was absent again today. The good news, both Whit Weeks and Tamarcus Cooley participated in the team periods. We'd been seeing them do individual drills with their position groups, but when they go team, they hadn't been participating. Today, both participated in the 7-on-7 and 11-on-11. It is important to note that there was no contact. They were not wearing shoulder pads, so this was just helmets and jerseys and shorts. So it's like it started in just helmets. They ramped up with wearing pads and having contact periods, and now it feels like they're tapering down in the last few practices. I did watch the one-on-one receiver DB drills. Remember, we've told you often that's a drill that is heavily skewed toward the offense. Of the 26 reps I charted, 12 for the offense, 14 wins for the defense. There were 3 PIs. Michael Turner had a PI against Trey Wilson. Deshaun Spears had a PI, and the freshman number 36, whose name I never remember, also had a PI. But touchdowns. Jace Brown had a touchdown against Ty Benefield. Jace Brown had a touchdown against Fahim Delane. Malik Elzy had a touchdown against Jakeem Jackson. There was a beautiful pass breakup by Haven Finney, who continues, I know I say this often, he continues to show physically he belongs. There's a reason why Haven Finney was the number 1 corner in the country for 2027. He reclassed, early enrolled, so he should still be a high school junior right now, but he's going through spring practice with LSU, and every day out there, he flashes. He just shows you, okay, that's why this guy was the number 1 corner in the country for 2027. He's going to have a super, super high ceiling. He has a super high ceiling in his career, and I cannot wait to watch him continue to develop. And there was another great pass breakup, by the way, as well. PJ Woodland had a great one on Phillip Wright today in that one-on-one drill. Inside run, which is, again, that's a drill skewed toward the defense, where everyone knows you're running the ball between the tackles. That's what the drill's designed to do. Landon Clark had a 60-yard touchdown run on that drill, just busted a long one. And maybe that's the thing that is super interesting, because when we're watching the offense now, you're starting to see results that are reminiscent of Lane Kiffin's offense. When you think of Lane Kiffin's offense, you think they go fast, they hit big plays in the passing game, they create coverage busts, chunk plays in the running game, defensive miscues. Those are the things that I associate with a Lane Kiffin offense. It's not this methodical, plotting 12-play drive where you run it 9 times right at people. It's fast, and we're seeing that. Jackson Harris had a quick slant touchdown with the twos in that inside run period. So you're seeing a lot of success. They also had a 7-on-7 and 11-on-11. So two things very quickly. A thought on each, the 7-on-7 and the 11-on-11. By the way, you can read all this at louisianasports.net for free if you'd like. So in the 7-on-7s, they go ones, twos, ones, twos. 5 plays for the ones, 5 plays for the twos, 5 plays for the ones, 5 plays for the twos. So 20 plays. I told you on Tuesday that in those 20 plays, one ball hit the ground, and it was the last play because there was a PI on P.J. Woodland. So, I mean, and the flags came raining in. On this day, the 4 possessions, ones, twos, all 4 possessions, the offense scored a touchdown. With the ones, Trey Wilson caught a quick slant for a touchdown that he housed. With the twos, Malik Elzy, coverage bust. C.J. Jim Coyley lost his spot. Elzy scores. The ones go back out there. It was the second part of it was a red zone 7-on-7. Pass out into the flat to Harlan Berry, who got up the field and in the end zone. And then with the twos, Malik Elzy, again, beat C.J. Jim Coyley for a touchdown. So it was a day that was really effective for the offense. When they went 11-on-11, the team period, the offense had a 9-play drive that ended with a Dylan Jones direct snap for a touchdown. Now, he fumbled the snap, which we've seen way too much of that, but he picked it up and ran it into the end zone. I will give an asterisk on this, because in the second play of that drive, Husan Longstreet's rolling right, coverage bust. He hits Malik Elzy. It's a foot race. P.J. Woodland catches him and strips the ball and recovers it. It should have been a turnover. They allowed the offense, however, to continue from that spot of the fumble. And they went on to score. But anyway, great play by P.J. Woodland. The twos went 3 and out. The threes went 3 and out. And then they wrapped up practice with an 11-on-11 2-point play. The ones and the twos each got 3 plays. The offense was 0 for 6. The defense jump ball to Trey'Dez Green, incomplete. They tried the Philly special. They ran a reverse to Jace Brown. He was going to throw it, but Ty Benefield came up with a TFL. And then the third play was the worst decision of the day by Husan Longstreet. He's rolling right, being pressured, throws back across the field, just heaves one toward Dylan Jones. Thankfully for the offense, Deshaun Spears had his back to the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, that might be a 95-yard pick six. So terrible decision there. But then the twos went out there, incomplete to Corey Barber. Great pass breakup by Fahim Delane. Very nice play by Dylan Carpenter. Knocked the ball down at the line of scrimmage. And then a quarterback draw was short. I'll tell you, I thought Dylan Carpenter, and this is going to be one of the things we talk about as we continue, recapping spring. I think especially with the injury to Gabe Relaford, you're looking at, all right, Prince Wiluman Mielen and Jordan Ross are your starters. Well, who's next? I think Dylan Carpenter from Santa Ma going into his 4th year now, I think he's a guy that defensively made a move, especially when they were giving Uman Mielen and Ross, they're giving him a breather, giving him a blow, just getting him off the field and give other guys reps. 97's the one that went out there and seemed to flash. So really good on the local kid, Dylan Carpenter, who I think had a really, really good spring and is going to become part of that defensive end rotation. So, man, a lot to like. The defense made some great plays and some big moments, but the offense, which is what we really needed to see, was this offense get it in gear and prove it can be competent and move the football. Seeing that gives you a bit of an exhale, and I'll remind you again, you did it without your starting quarterback. Like, you haven't had Sam Levitt for spring. So when you get Sam Levitt back, in theory, that should just help escalate and elevate the offense even more. So LSU will have one more spring practice on Saturday. No media access, so our access is done for spring. We'll talk to Lane Kiffin on Tuesday, and he'll recap all of spring, so we'll tell you what Lane had to say on Tuesday. But we appreciate the access and hope you enjoyed all the updates. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Rouse's, official supermarket of the Saints, Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. We are about 2 hours away from the start of the NFL draft. And, of course, if you're going to be watching the draft, maybe head on into Rouse's, pick up dinner for the whole family, maybe grab some ice-cold Bud Light, some Evermore water, whatever it is that you want, and prepare to watch the draft with our friends from Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints. They got their weekly ad that you can get on the website, their Facebook page to see all the great deals. If you're buying find on a budget, make sure you check it out at Rouse's. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com, Rouse's. This feels like home. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Glad you're aboard with us here. Rolling through hour number 3 as we inch closer to the start of the NFL Draft. All the latest draft news and buzz will continue to hit that as we roll through hour number 3 of AFR, presented by Decision Critical.
After Further Review.
You know, being out here today it's actually been very pleasant. Was a little hot earlier, but mostly cloudy, little overcast, and really nice. But you know, as well as I do, the relentless triple-digit temps are right around the corner. Make sure your home central AC is ready to withstand the brutal, relentless Louisiana summer. Give River City's 1 Hour Air a call. Get your preseason AC tune-up. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. Mention the Moscona special. They'll knock $30 off the price. It's at River City's 1 Hour Air. Don't go through the brutal Louisiana summer without first having your AC checked to make sure it is in tip-top shape. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
As we inch closer to the start of the NFL Draft, I do find it interesting looking at the draft odds as something we followed throughout this whole process. Johnny Avello, the head odds maker at DraftKings, was with us a day ago. And his point was a good one, because whether you follow draft odds or not, and you sports bet or not, is sort of irrelevant. This just conceptually should make sense. If you're betting on live sports, you do your best based on what you know about these teams that are playing in whatever sport to try to guess how, what an outcome may be. When you're talking about the draft, it's just information. It's who has better information. Is it the bettors or the book that's setting the lines? So I think it's interesting to watch some of this movement, because we all know that Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first pick in the draft. So everyone sort of is assuming the draft starts with the second pick, when the Jets are going to pick 2. And the 2 quote-unquote elite edge rushers in this draft, the sort of consensus, Arvell Reese and David Bailey, that decision, I think, really is kind of going to determine how this goes, right? And right now, DraftKings has Arvell Reese minus 230 to go second overall, and David Bailey's at plus $1.70. So for those who don't sports bet, just so you know, minus 230 means you'd have to bet $230 to win 100. Plus 170 means you bet 100, you win 170. So Arvell Reese is kind of a significant favorite over David Bailey to be the number 2 pick in the draft, which would be to the Jets. Now, there could always be a trade, but the number 2 pick in the draft. So it stands to reason that if Reese is the pick at 2, Bailey would likely be the pick at 3. However, the current betting favorite to be the 3rd pick is Jeremiah Love. Now, it's close with Love and Bailey. So whatever the Jets decide to do will create a decision for the Cardinals at 3, unless if someone trades up to 3. So the Cardinals can take either the other elite edge rusher, Bailey or Reese, whichever doesn't go 2 to the Jets, or they can take the running back, Jeremiah Love, or does someone who want Jeremiah Love trade up to 3 to get him? Well, if they trade up to 3 and if Jeremiah Love goes 3, well, then David Bailey or Arvell Reese, the other edge rusher, in theory, is still sitting on the board at 4 when the Titans pick. So it will be so interesting, because Jeremiah Love right now is the betting favorite to be both the 3rd and the 4th pick, either Cardinals at 3, Titans at 4. The consensus seems to be Jeremiah Love's not getting past 4. So the question is, though, will the 2nd and 3rd picks be the 2 pass rushers? And if if it's pass rusher at 2, Love at 3, well, what do the Titans do at 4? Do they take the other pass rusher? Do they take Sonny Styles? Do they try to trade out of the pick? That's where I think you're going to see maybe the real intrigue start in this draft, because if there is a team that is just desperate for an edge rusher, Dallas could certainly come into play there. The Saints could come into play there. Could you see one of those teams move up to 3 or 4 to take either Reese or Bailey if they get past, whichever one gets past 2, if Jeremiah Love goes 3? Does that make sense? So assuming Mendoza 1, one of the edge rushers 2, if the third pick is Jeremiah Love, then one of those edge rushers, Reese or Bailey, still going to be on the board at 4. Do the Titans take him? Do you see a trade there to try to nab an elite edge rusher? Maybe. So that's going to be a fascinating thing to watch unfold. For what it's worth, the Saints with the 8th pick, the betting favorite to go 8 is still Jordan Tyson at plus 225, and then a distant second is Mansour Delane at plus 425. So do the Saints go receiver? If Carnell Tate's already off the board, do they take Jordan Tyson? If Tyson's off the board or they don't go receiver, is Mansour Delane potentially the pick at 8 overall? Or do they look at Ruben Bain? I mean, you can sort of see how the board could play out and what type of decisions the Saints are going to have to make. Now, Mickey Loomis, in his press conference a day ago, in his pre-draft press conference, he was talking about the cornerback position, and in particular, the slot position, saying or asking, he was asked, is slot cornerback a premium position in Brandon Staley's defense?
Maybe a little bit. I wouldn't say it's significantly different, but yeah, maybe. But I'd say maybe a little different. Yes. I mean, you have to pay attention to the schemes you're running and what your coaching staff values in terms of what they're trying to get accomplished. So yeah, it does have some impact.
And the follow-up was about Mansour Delane specifically, and the conversations that the Saints brass had with the LSU cornerback at his pro day.
Look, I don't want to get into a discussion about specific players, but look, I had a good talk with him. He's an impressive young man. I talked to him about some of the things that he was doing, in the offseason, and look, he was great. He had great answers, and obviously a really good player. It's going to get taken high.
Part of why the pre-draft press conference is generally a worthless exercise, because nobody wants to tip their hand and give away any information. But you can sort of see how things are narrowed for New Orleans when they're on the clock at 8, provided they don't get aggressive and move up. It is worth revisiting this, however. If you were not here at the top of the show, we let you hear from Ian Rappaport, who earlier today on the NFL Network did, in fact, list New Orleans as one of the teams that could move up in this draft to take one of those elite edge rushers.
The potential of number 3, yes, I do expect Jeremiah Love to be in play there at number 3. But Tom, the Arizona Cardinals and then probably the Tennessee Titans after them as well face a couple fascinating decisions, because if Arvell Reese is there, I would expect him to garner significant trade interest from other teams in the top 10. The New Orleans Saints and Mickey Loomis have traded up plenty of times over the last decade. They've never met a big-time player they didn't at least consider trading up for. You'd wonder, considering they need an edge, Cam Jordan not signed, would they be a potential team? And then the Kansas City Chiefs also looking for players on the edge. Could they be a team that looks to come up to 3 or 4 for an edge rusher? That is going to be one of the biggest pressure points very early in this draft.
We told you the statistic yesterday. As the general manager, Mickey Loomis has made 38 draft trades. 4 of them have been to move back. They don't move back, they move up. And I could see a world where, yes, if Arvell Reese or David Bailey is lingering there at 4, the Saints could get aggressive and go up to get him. And, this is, you heard Rappaport say there, sort of dovetail into the conversation about Cam Jordan, where we don't know what Cam's future is going to be in New Orleans. He is presently unsigned. He is an unrestricted free agent. He is free to sign with anyone, yet there has been no one that has signed him, which tells you what his market is. He said, sort of infamously, the cents have to make sense, and they're not right now. He wants what DeMario Davis got. He wants a multi-year deal with guaranteed money. Well, he's a guy that has been a declining player for 4 years, had a very nice season this year, but that is still an outlier. And there's no reason to believe firmly that Cam's drinking from the fountain of youth. That feels like a one-off. So teams wouldn't be smart to invest a multi-year deal with guaranteed money in Cam Jordan. I would be happy to give him a low base and a high incentive-laden contract if he wants to be a double-digit sack guy again. But that's a decision that the Saints may have to make and may make tonight, depending on what they do at 8 overall if they get aggressive and move up. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. It's not just healthcare, it's healthcare for your lifestyle. We'll knock out a quick break and continue from the parade grounds at LSU, where we are winding down the Team Kate Swab event. What an awesome day we've had here today, and we'll certainly recap that for you as we roll along. Stay with us. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. The Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. That's Bluebonnet, right near I-10. Remember, Watermark Baton Rouge, downtown Baton Rouge, the premier hotel property in Baton Rouge, voted by you the best hotel in the best of 225. Watermark Baton Rouge is just gorgeous. The original Louisiana National Bank building. Had lunch, actually, at the Gregory just last week. Great place for a business lunch during the day, to go have dinner at night. Sunday brunch at the Gregory is awesome. And some people say, I just don't like to park downtown. Okay, great. When you're going to dine at the Gregory at Watermark Baton Rouge, it's complimentary valet. So you just pull up to the front of the hotel. The valet takes your car and goes and parks for you. You don't have to worry about it. VIP all the way. It's the Watermark in downtown Baton Rouge. Great place to stay for any LSU home football game or for guest family coming in from out of town. It's Watermark Baton Rouge.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Well, I don't like it because it means that last year didn't go very well. So you don't want to be picking in the top 10. But once you get to the draft and you look at the quality of the players that exist, you get excited about, I know we're going to get a really good player at pick 8. So you get excited about that, a guy that can have an impact on your team.
Mickey Loomis meeting with reporters on Wednesday. Saints with the 8th pick in the draft. I want to go on record right now with what I would like to see the Saints do. Muse, Paulie, I'll come to you two guys in a second as well if you're interested, throwing out what you think. But I think I vacillated a lot here because when you're picking 8th, it's true. You don't have bad options. You're bad enough because you're picking 8th. You're bad enough to where you need a lot of things, and you're picking high enough to where you're going to get somebody with a first round grade. Now, the Saints don't often pick top 10. They did a year ago. Remember, they took Kelvin Banks with the 9th overall pick. But prior to that, the last time that you're looking at the Saints with a top 10 pick, Taliesin Fuaga was 14th, Brzee was 29th, Olave was 11th, and Penning was 19th. That was obviously the year where you did the trade with the Eagles. Peyton Turner was 28th, Ruiz was 24th. You kind of become well acquitted with picking middle, late round 1. Marcus Davenport, remember, you traded up to take Davenport 14th. Marshawn Lattimore was the 11th pick back in 2017, and Sheldon Rankins was the 12th pick in 2016. Andrus Peat was the 13th pick. I mean, when you look at the Saints picking top 10, aside from last year with Kelvin Banks, the last time the Saints picked top 10 was 2008, where they took Cedric Ellis 7th overall. I mean, Banks was the first time in nearly 20 years that the Saints picked top 10 again. So it's an unfamiliar position for New Orleans to be in. Now, for a long time, they were in that position because they weren't very good. Now, remember, Mickey Loomis traded up to take Jonathan Sullivan, 6th overall. You took Ricky Williams with the 5th overall pick. So there's, obviously we know Reggie Bush went 2nd overall in 2006, but the point is, you haven't been in this position often, so it's a little bit of a different approach. For me, my approach has been, as we've talked about it, I want to get a player at a premium position that you can't get a player of that ilk at that position, generally speaking, outside of the top 10. It's why edge rusher, quarterback, left tackle, elite cornerback, those are the positions that you tend to target. So you're not drafting a quarterback in the top 10. You don't need an offensive tackle. So it really leaves the elite level prospects on the defensive side. Can you get an edge rusher or a cornerback in the top 10? Now, I also have banged the drum for an elite level top end receiver because the Saints have just never had that guy. They've had number 1 receivers and good receivers in the past, but they've never had a guy that you would challenge for being the best, most explosive, dynamic, game-breaking receiver in the NFL. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, JSN. No one is ever going to confuse any of the Saints receivers in the history of the organization with being that. So, Marcus Colston's a Saints Hall of Famer and was a great NFL player for a long time. He wasn't that. So if you have the opportunity to get that guy, okay. I also believe picking at 42 in a deep receiver draft, you're going to have the opportunity to get great value at receiver at 42. And so I've really come around on the idea of the Saints looking at Chris Bell from Louisville at 42 and going best defensive player at 8. And I think that's going to be Mansour Delane. I don't want it to come across as I'm just banging the drum for the LSU guy, because that's not the case. If Jermon McCoy were healthy and there was a consensus that he was the best cornerback in the draft, I'd be perfectly fine taking Jermon McCoy. But some of the conversations that we're having about Jordan Tyson that give me pause are the same reasons I have pause about Jermon McCoy. The injury situation with those guys is real. And if you're going to invest a top 10 pick, this has to be someone that is a day one starter for you, and that is going to be an impact starter for a long time. That's what you're picking in the top of round 1 when you have the 8th overall pick. So there are no injury concerns with Mansour Delane. There are no character concerns with Mansour Delane. He has the size, the ability to day one step on the field and be a lockdown number 1 corner. I'm not suggesting that he's Derek Stingley. I'm not suggesting he's going to be the best corner in the NFL, but he is light years better than what you have right now in Kool-Aid McKinstry and Quincy Riley. And I think if you take Delane at 8, that allows you to say from day one, you take away this half of the field. And then the other side is you're looking at Quincy Riley, or you're looking at Kool-Aid as your 2 and Quincy Riley as your slot. I think that is the best path that is going to be realistic. Now, if something crazy happens and David Bailey or Arvell Reese is sitting there at 6 and you decide to move up a couple of spots to get him, okay. I don't love that idea because I don't love giving up number 42, because I think at 8 and 42 you're going to get 2 starters on a team that needs a lot of young talent. But if you can get the best pass rusher in this draft somewhere around 6 and you just got to move a couple spots to do it, generally I'm going to be okay with that. I really think the only thing that I will when we're talking here on Friday, the only thing that I think I would be really upset is if they trade up to take Jeremiah Love. I would be furious. And if they trade up, honestly, to 3 to take an edge rusher and they give up next year's first-round pick, probably the 2 this year and next year's 1, because you just have too many needs. And, yeah, as Mickey Loomis said a day ago, they're not a player away. So being that aggressive and giving up top-tier draft capital where you can get multiple impact players doesn't seem worth it to me because you're not a player away. I gave you examples of the Chiefs going up to get Patrick Mahomes, of the Falcons going up to get Julio Jones. Big-time moves to get players that you don't think about the capital you gave up, but those were teams that were drafting 27th. They were already playoff teams, and they got really aggressive to go get a player they wanted because they felt they were a player away. The Saints are not. So I have a hard time justifying a move up in round 1 tonight. So the Saints are sitting there at 8. That's what I'd like to see them do. I'd like them to take Mansour Delane and then grab a best receiver available there in round 2 at 42. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. You can go to ShawBillsTire.com. It's name brand tires at wholesale prices. Remember, they will sell you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible, and they guarantee it. If you buy tires at Shaw Bills, you find those tires advertised cheaper somewhere else, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. It's Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, Muse, Paulie, you're on the clock. You get to make the pick. Go ahead.
I personally would like to see the Saints either go wide receiver or cornerback. I think those are their two biggest needs. I don't really think you desperately need an edge rusher. At least in this draft right now, with what you still have on the team, you could always sign Cam Jordan back to at least a 1-year deal if you want to go that route, or if you feel convicted to take an edge rusher. I mean, they're going to do it. But for me, I would rather wide receiver, and if it's not a receiver, then go Mansour Delane. Cornerback's a big need for this team, and that's what I would like to see them do.
I personally, if I'm making the pick, I am also taking Mansour Delane. I think corner is your weakest position on defense. What do I think they're going to do? I think they're targeting an edge. If it's moving up, I think they're going to take either Bailey or Arvo Reese. And if they stay put at 8, I think they possibly target Ruben Bain.
I see how it all plays out. We all three want them to go Mansour Delane. We're just a bunch of gigantic LSU homers. We're here on LSU's campus, so why not? But honestly, I don't think it's that at all. I think Delane, you have a chance to take the best player at a premium position. If you take a corner in round 2, it's going to be just a significant drop-off. So I get it. I think it's why we're all kind of sitting right there. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. It's not just healthcare. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Hat tip to Blasia and her great team. We tell you all the time, if you got a newborn at home like Paulie and you're having trouble sleeping, call Decision Critical. Their nurse can maybe take care of your baby for a few nights while you catch up on some sleep. Maybe it's end-of-life care, hospice. Maybe you've got a difficult diagnosis. You need to carry out your doctor's orders at home. Our friends over at Decision Critical, their expertly trained nurses will come in the home to help you. It's DecisionCriticalBR.com. Schedule that discovery call today, DecisionCriticalBR.com. Okay, final segment from the LSU Parade Grounds, where we're here today for the Team Kate Swab event. If you couldn't make it out today, you still got time tomorrow, or you can always join the NMDP registry online, your LA Wallet app. That's the National Marrow Donor Program, NMDP. Join and help save a life. Okay, quick break. Jimmy's here for Otterlocks. Stay with us. We'll wrap it up next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen Air Airline, LA16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local over at Clegg's Nursery. Then we're out here on the parade grounds, and I've told you, I got stung by a wasp a little bit ago on my leg. Need some wasp spray? They got it at Clegg's. They got all kind of like mosquitoes and stuff out here. Maybe what they need to do is go to Clegg's and get that Aeon mosquito barrier and hang it on the property line around here at the quad or the parade grounds. Get rid of these skeeters. Hey, look, you want to beautify your lawn, your garden, your outdoor space, they can help you do that at Clegg's. Full greenhouses, mulch, soil, bag, bulk, they got everything. But if you want to keep some pests away, you need to get the weeds out of your lawn, Clegg's can help with that as well. So get by any of the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on this beautiful Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Working on getting in touch with Jimmy to do auto locks. A couple of quick reminders. Tomorrow's show, Friday, we're at Zurich. So it's something we've done for a decade, maybe longer. Every year, the Friday of the Zurich Classic, we do our show from Zurich. It's always the Friday of the NFL draft. So we'll have a full recap of day one of the draft, a preview of the rest of the weekend. One quick note, if you have not heard, LSU and Mississippi State game one of the series has been moved up to 3 p.m. So that's devastating for me. But as we will start AFR tomorrow at Zurich at 3 p.m. But game one, due to the forecast of inclement weather in Starkville, game one has been moved up to 3 p.m. So Hunt Palmer will be live from Starkville doing the Hunt Palmer Show and covering the weekend series for LouisianaSports.net. But Hunt will be there on from 1 to 3, effectively acting as a pregame show, as the game has now been moved up to 3 p.m. Game one was originally scheduled for a 6 p.m. first pitch. Okay, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Auto Locks.
Auto Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Yo, Otter, what up?
What's going on, Matthew? We just missed sweeping the Randy McKay hockey picks last night, man. He hit the big dog and hit the first. We had 2 power plays in overtime. We couldn't finish it off. So 2-1 for him, 2-1 for me. So we getting back on the right track. Remember, Colucci last Thursday gave us that 11.5 to 1 parlay last week. He's got some more picks tonight for us.
All right.
He's going with Ottawa, the Senators, minus 120. And then he's got the Kings plus the puck line. So plus 1.5 goals against the Avalanche. So Ottawa minus 120 and the Kings plus 1.5 for Colucci's picks on the ice. He gave us 3 for tomorrow as well. I don't have those in front of me, but we'll put those out again tomorrow on the website.
The Kings plus 1.5. I'm looking at minus $1.92. It's a ton of juice. We like that.
Yeah, that's what he gave us.
Okay.
So,
all right. No, all good.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah.
What about anything in the draft tonight?
I've got several things still live at the DraftKings. By far the best menu left. I've got the Bills to take a defensive line / edge, right around even money. I have the Rams to take a wide receiver. I have, and Randy and I are on this one. We have, and that's about even money as well. We both have Baltimore to take an offensive lineman, and then Kansas City to take an offensive lineman. That one's playing pretty good at plus 250. Okay. So for first players taken there. Got 2 plays in the NBA tonight. We got the Knicks. It's creeping down now, Matt. You might get it to 1 right now. When I gave it to Hunt, it was at 1.5. Game 3 in Atlanta after that game 2 was stolen from them. And then I also have the Toronto Raptors plus 2.5. We're looking at some 3s popping around on that one as well. So more favorable lines in the NBA moving our way. We gave out the Yankees earlier today with Littler. They are scoreless early on. And then Joe Ryan against the Mets. Mets finally broke that losing streak, but Ryan for the Twins is throwing as good as anybody, maybe minus Jose Soriano for the Angels. So that's a tough matchup for the Mets today. Right around even money with the Twins at Citi Field tonight. So,
all right, so we like
smorgasbord.
So the Yankees in game, they're down 1-0, so that's plus $1.31 there in the fourth. And we said we like the Twins minus $1.05. Yeah. Twins money line, yeah. Okay, Twins on the money line. Okay, so a lot. You've got the Knicks, the Raptors, the Yankees, and the Twins. And then on the ice, you got Ottawa and then the LA Kings on the puck line. That's plus 1.5. And then Jimmy has his draft picks as well that we just gave out. So tomorrow at Ruffino's, recapping it all?
Yes, indeed. Tomorrow, Ruffino's, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So there'll be a lot to it's been a great week of sports, man. I know we don't talk about the hockey too much, but the NBA has been really good after a couple of duds on Saturday, Sunday. The hockey's been great. Now you got the draft. It's been a really fun. The Padres are down 3 in the ninth, come back with a 5 spot to win. So we got all kinds of things going on in sports right now.
All right, Otter, we appreciate it. Good luck.
All right, good luck.
All right, man. It's after further review. It'll do it for us. Moose, Paulie back in studio. Cassie on site. Thanks to everybody who helped make this an amazing day here at the Team Kate Schwab event. You can come out here to Parade Grounds tomorrow or get the info online, 1045ESPN.com. Have a great night.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about our friends over at Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics and a great partner of ours here today at the Team Kate Schwab event. We had Dr. Saba with Our Lady of the Lake here earlier today, Ashley Cowan, LSU gymnast, who's one of their NIL athletes with Our Lady of the Lake. Such a great way that they expand healthcare to give back to our communities. And obviously LSU athletes on the field, the court, the diamond, and then everyday champions like you and me. You know, more than half of Louisianians, wherever you are in the state, utilize an Our Lady of the Lake or an FMOL property. If it's one of the hospitals or one of their clinics, the specialty services, they continue to expand healthcare across our state, bringing world-class care here at home. And they are the championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar.